Hi, what you just saw was an intro to a web series called Development Hell that I'm helping making, and so I wanted to give you a little making of what I'm doing here, so let's take a look. So yeah, what exactly am I doing here? Actually, I'm the guy who made this poster over here, and also, well, let's see my name. What's my series animation department? Animator, opening animation. So actually, what you've seen the animation, this is what I made, and I'm gonna show you how I created that. And today is also, you see here, series producer Arya Inthavong. Am I saying that right? Today is Arya's birthday. Shh, it's a surprise. And I'm just doing something that our producer can put on his Facebook page to entertain you all. So Arya contacted me on Facebook after seeing a dream animation for Tim Butler, and then Tim Butler is actually, or aka Runfunk, is the guy who made the music to the intro that you just saw. So if we go here into my development help folder, there's the music. So here we have Arya, and this is a show about him trying to make movies. This is the writer, and also they wrote actors. He showed me the cast, and so they're all trying to persuade this guy, Scott Rodolowski, who's the owner of the movie production studio, to let them to fund their movie. And so I thought about, yeah, well, let's because they're all shitting on his head, I was reminded of the classic Atlas guy who's holding up the earth. The first thing I did was create a storyboard for the animation, and I drew these pictures of the different shots. And this is the main actor, Blake Montana. He's being filmed by Damien Lockwood, the director here, and the camera turns around and we see his assistant Archie, and then the camera zooms out and we see that Scott is actually holding them all up like Atlas, and then everything collapses and development hell comes in. So this is how this looks in. So I put this together to create this animatic. And this basically communicates the idea of what I wanted to do. I also wanted to give him a taste of how this would look like, so I took one of the photos of the main actor and drew him in ArtRage, which I bought just for this use. So this is the portrait I did. It was a test of how the art style of the animatic, of the animation. And this is the only program that I bought, but it's pretty cheap. It's, you know, in the $50 range. I could have gone with a little different results with GIMP, and everything would be done free. So I had to figure out how am I going to animate all this, and I don't have After Effects, and I wanted to figure out how am I gonna do this in free software. So well, and it didn't occur to me that, yeah, After Effects, you know, it's just 2D stuff moving in 3D, so why not we just use 3D software? So that's how I ended up using just Blender. So I went ahead and created a bunch of, there's 3 scenes, this is the second one, and I just painted these characters. So for example, here Damien is, you know, it's composed out of these small pieces, and which is then brought together here in 3D. Here's the final scene. This is all done with stupid keyframe animation, so you know, everything's just moving 2D blocks in 3D space. And because it's, you know, I did all the parts separately, so you know, I can animate them kind of like a puppet. So let's take a look how all of this fits together. So from here on, I show this to Arya, and for me to paint the actual characters, I needed to get some references of the actors doing this. So this this stand-in animation was a good thing for their director of photography, Anel, to give me some very good reference photos to work with. So he knows what kind of shots I needed, and so he went ahead and created a whole bunch of shots that just resemble exactly how the animation goes, and I was able to use this in ArtRage to finally paint the final versions. So here's the painted version, here's my reference, here's the painted version, and as I explained, it's all, you know, it's all created out of layers so that we get this parallax effect when things are moving. It's all composed into the final shot like this. So in the way this would look like in Blender. And so here we have the same scene in Blender. Now you can see how the camera can actually go in between these characters, right? Because it's done in layers. So as you can see, it's all 2D sprites done in 3D, placed in 3D, and then the camera moves through this scene. Shot 2 is done pretty much in the same thing. Just camera zooms past the characters. You can see in the bottom right corner the preview. And then for the third scene, it's a little bit more complicated because I needed to create special effects. There's our final scene. Camera coming down, and then here he's moving. You can see here the hierarchy of limbs so that everything moves together. Okay, here are the lines. And what happens here, these little dots that you see are smoke particles that were simulated. So and all these particles are physics based and they fly around this sphere for the globe, and so when I render the final animation, what we get is this. There you go. There's a motion blur added on top of that, so that this looks like it's moving very fast. The compositing itself looks something like this. So as you can see, I'm using defocus so that only the parts in the focus of the camera are actually sharp and the rest is blurred. And I'm using vector blur to create the motion, you know, these blurry echoes around the image so that it gives you the feeling of fast movement, like here. So as I got all my shots done, these are the 3 shots. Second one, and the third one. I went into iMovie where I edited this together into the final animation. Also, Tim Butler did also the Foley sounds for the final crash at the end of the So here it is, the final, very simple editing, just a fade in at the start and then some more fades, and there we go into the ending. And here's the Foley sounds added by Tim Butler at the end, and here's the theme, and so all together. There we go, that's how this thing was made. So that's it, subscribe to the series if you haven't done that yet, and I'll see you next time in whatever it is next that I'll be doing. So see ya, and happy birthday, Arya. Bye.